What is up, everyone? It's Spooky Loops, and I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. The much anticipated Resident Evil chapter has finally arrived, and the excitement is real. With a massive franchise like Resident Evil coming to DVD, comes an influx of brand new players as well, and I am extremely excited for the growth that this game is going to receive. Alright, so about the video. I get frequently asked for advice or tips when it comes to certain killers in Dead by Daylight. So I thought it'd be a really cool idea to make a video that highlights one great tip for every killer in DBD. All 24, including the Nemesis. Whether you're a brand new player or just trying to learn something different, this video is made for you. With that being said, strap in, let us celebrate 5 years of DBD and Resident Evil. Enjoy. The Trapper, the poster boy for DBD. This killer has been around for 5 years, and it's no surprise that survivors have become accustomed to common trap locations. The last thing you want after you've spent ample time setting up is having your power taken away from you because of bad trap placement. Once a survivor spots you as a trapper, they are instantly going to be more alert and on the lookout for typical traps. So it's up to you to think outside of the box. You need to imagine things from a survivor's perspective. Where will they run? Which side of the structure seems safe? And that's where you trap. Survivors have tendencies to hug props very tight while looping, and setting up traps in grass or narrow pathways within their route is always going to be key. The Wraith. This killer recently got a rework and is in a much healthier state. The Wraith has the ability to become completely undetectable while in stealth, and is completely invisible to survivors from outside of 20 meters. However, he does give off a rather obvious audible cue when coming out of cloak, allowing survivors enough time to start running when he's in close proximity. Your best approach is to uncloak behind line of sight, and use the boost of speed while lunging to catch your target off guard. It takes you 3 seconds to uncloak, and you're allowed a small window before your red stain appears to attack. The Hillbilly. While chainsaw sprinting, the Hillbilly moves at a blazing 9.2 meters per second. Moving at high rates of speed has its downsides. Billy's steering becomes restrictive while sprinting, making it hard to deal with sharp corners. The best time to use your chainsaw is when you've close distance on a survivor, and they have little to no way to dodge. Keep in mind, it takes 2.5 seconds to completely rev your chainsaw, so make sure you have enough time to do so before the survivor becomes unreachable. Here's an advanced tip. If you feel that the survivor may drop a pallet in front of you, tap your ability button to quickly rev your chainsaw and then release. This will give off the impression that you're going to initiate a charge, and the survivor can save the pallet for another lap, giving you a free hit with your cattle hammer. The Nurse. Arguably the hardest killer in the game to master, but with good reason. The normal rules of the realm do not apply to her, as she's able to blink through practically everything. With that said, it's also very easy to overestimate your blink, sending you flying past your opponent. While learning her mechanics and trajectory, use your first blink to trace the survivor's route, and then use your second blink for adjustments. The Huntress. Anna's hatchets are based entirely off of timing. The most common mistake I see new Huntress players make are mistiming her throws. It takes 2 seconds from animation start to hatchet release, and that's not including travel time. When a survivor drops a pallet or vaults a window, they are locked into animation. These are almost always guaranteed hits, and the Huntress thrives in these situations. However, underestimating your charge time can cause a hatchet to fly right behind a survivor after they vault. To fix this, start charging your hatchet prior to turning a corner. By doing this, your hatchet will be ready to be thrown once your target is within line of sight, rather than being thrown too late. The Shape. Michael Myers starts the trial completely undetectable. His power is called Evil Within and requires you to stalk survivors through 3 tiers, increasing in momentum with each fill of the power gauge. Once his final tier is nearly complete, make sure to move close to your target before initiating. Evil Within 3 allows you to instant down survivors for 60 seconds, and popping your power when far away gives your opponent ample time to be prepared. The Hag. This killer spends her early game creating her web for later, When a survivor runs over your trap, it snaps their camera into the direction of the idle hag, allowing you to teleport to that location from up to 40 meters away. Similar to the trapper, placing traps around high traffic areas creates devastating results for survivors. The hag is also incredible at defense. Make sure to set your traps around high value targets like totems and hooks. Just remember, a survivor will not set off your trap if they're crouching. The Doctor. Survivors use pallets and window vaults to create a line of defense, and the Doctor can shut all of that down. Shocking your target temporarily disables them from performing actions, but your timing is everything. Shock therapy takes 2 seconds to charge and an additional 1 second to surge to the survivor. If not timed right, the survivor will still drop the pallet or make the window. Make sure to shock within the eligible window for best effect. The Cannibal, more famously known as Bubba or Leatherface, wields yet another chainsaw. However, this one is a bit different. When sweeping your chainsaw, it is very easy to accidentally bump into the loop, causing you to go into a tantrum and ultimately lose a survivor. Your best approach when looping with your chainsaw is to travel a bit wider and in an off angle so that you can still close distance and not bump into anything. The Nightmare. Freddy has an ability called Dream Projection, where he can teleport to any unrepaired generator on the map. If you notice a survivor is running towards the generator while in chase, teleport ahead to cut off their route. While Freddy is teleporting, the generator will start to overflow with blood, and a projection of Freddy will start to climb from the ground. This can be cancelled at any time during the sequence to make for some fun mind games. The Pig. Amanda can crouch to obtain the undetectable status effect. Activating her power called Ambush launches you forward at 6.9 meters per second for 2 seconds. Once you initiate an ambush, your red stain reappears and an audible roar is emitted from the pig. Use your red stain to fake a direction at a pallet and then cut the other way while using ambush, giving the survivor little time to react. The Clown. This killer recently got a rework and is now armed with 2 throwable bottles, the Afterpiece Tonic and the Afterpiece Antidote. The tonic emits pink gas which slows down the survivor, while the antidote gives you and them a boost of speed. Throw a tonic bottle to hinder your target, and the antidote on the other side of the tile to close the distance. The Spirit. While using Yamaoka's Haunting, the Spirit phases through the spirit world at 7.04 meters per second. While phasing, she loses sight of the target and pulls of blood, but everything else remains. Pay attention to scratch marks or any environmental changes that may happen around you to pinpoint a survivor's location. The Legion. When entering Feral Frenzy, you ramp up to 5.2 meters per second. Upon hitting a survivor, Killer Instinct will reveal all other survivors within your terror radius. In a 1 versus 1 setting, use Feral Frenzy to damage your opponent. Then reclose distance and cancel your power. Being that Feral Frenzy cannot down your target with a second attack, resuming normal chase faster is your best bet. The Plague. You have one goal and one goal in mind: get everyone infected. You can use Vile Purge on everything a survivor interacts with. Once a survivor has fully obtained the infection, they become broken, making them insta-down from your attacks. The more Vile Purge given to the survivor, the faster they will lose a health state, making your job that much easier. The Ghostface. This segment will be relatively brief as I've already created a full-length guide for this killer. I'll leave a title card in the top for you. Similar to Michael Myers, when in Night Shroud you are completely undetectable. Use your stealth to your advantage and remain out of line of sight upon your approach. When stalking your target, make sure to expose them only at close proximity, giving them little to no time to react. The Demogorgon. This killer doesn't throw hatchets, but your approach is relatively the same. Your shred ability launches you at a maximum distance of 11 meters. Charging your power before turning corners gives you an advantage for shutting down vaults. Your shred takes only 1 second to be fully charged and can be ready to launch once the corner has passed you. Here's another tip. Flashlights can be a nuisance, especially when trying to pick up a survivor. If you ever feel that there may be a flashlight user nearby, start the portal setting animation on top of the survivor to mimic a pickup. Trust me, it'll show up. The Oni. When injuring a survivor, you begin to fill your power gauge for Yamaoka's Wrath. All injured survivors release blood orbs around their location passively for every 4 seconds. Once enough blood is acquired, you can initiate Demon Dash. The Oni's dash is much easier to control as he doesn't get punished for bumping into structures. However, sharp corners can be taxing due to your turning restrictions. To account for this, start your Demon Dash at an angle so that you slide face first into the structure, and you're lined up accordingly to your target. The Deathslinger. This killer is armed with a projectile weapon called the Redeemer. When firing, the weapon launches a spear that has a maximum distance of 18 meters, allowing you to reel survivors in from quite a bit away. When engaging with a survivor, open with your basic attack first, and then use your Redeemer to reel them back in. While a survivor is hooked, moving backwards on your controls reels them in faster. And don't be afraid to take shots over windows. The Executioner. Pyramid Head was the first killer in Dead by Daylight to have an alternative to hooking survivors. To do this, you need to create a torment trail by using your ability Rites of Judgment. Pyramid Head places his sword into the environment and creates a trail of barbed wire. Whenever a survivor comes into contact with these trails, they become tormented and can be sent to the Cage of Atonement. Placing trails in front of lockers, vaults, or loops can make it much easier for the survivor to touch them. At any point during this sequence, you can fire a ranged attack from your trail to injure your target. When chasing a survivor while in Rites of Judgment, quickly cancel the ability to get a sneaky hit on your opponent. The Blight. This killer rushes at tremendous speed by chaining slams together. However, knowing what you can slam into is key. Attempting a slam into a bad surface or at an off angle can sometimes send you flying past the structure and ending your chain window. Your best approach is to slam into a structure as head-on as possible to allow for a continued rush chain. As you're rushing, be on the lookout for surfaces you can use to close the gap between you and the survivor. The Twins. For the first time ever, you can now have 2 killers in the same trial. Charlotte and Victor are conjoined twins that can be separated but can only be controlled one at a time. While controlling Victor, Charlotte stands stationary in place and vice versa. This allows for some very strong play between the two. It takes 0.25 seconds to switch from Charlotte to Victor, and 3 seconds to switch back. When approaching a tile, release Victor into the chase, leaving Charlotte to block a main exit or a pallet. The goal is to have both twins covering either side of the structure to ensure the survivor goes down. Use Charlotte as your opener, and Victor to finish the job. The Trickster. Every killer has their strengths and weaknesses. The Trickster comes standard with 60 throwable knives that can be used in a variety of ways. Small trash loops or unsafe structures are where the Trickster thrives. Use your knives to pepper your target whenever you're in these areas, as the survivor does not have much cover to rely on. If the survivor attempts to transfer to a safer location, finish your lacerations at a distance as your bat is unreachable. The Nemesis. Resident Evil has finally made its way into the entity's realm, and this killer comes packing a punch. No pun intended. The Nemesis moves at 4.6 meters per second with a standard 32-meter terror radius. He starts the trial with an empty mutation gauge and no special benefits. When engaging early with survivors, you want to only focus using your tentacle strike, as each hit fills your mutation. Once you've reached mutation level 2, your tentacle strike now has the ability to break pallets and doors. If a survivor is infected with the T virus, they begin coughing and can only cure the contamination with a vaccine. When a survivor uses a vaccine, you will get a proc from Killer Instinct notifying you that one of the 4 vaccines has been used. Once you've obtained maximum mutation, your tentacle strike will have an increased range and can be used to hit survivors over various surfaces. When a survivor is vaulting a pallet, do not hesitate to use tentacle strike, as the game will prioritize your hit on the survivor over breaking the pallet. But don't worry, you're not alone in this. 2 AI zombies will traverse the map, offering free pressure at no expense. Pay attention to the auras of your zombies. They will extend their arms when there is a survivor within close proximity to them. And when you find yourself chasing a survivor in the same area as a zombie, control the direction of the chase to pressure your opponent into taking a hit from the zombie. Phew. So there you have it. One great tip for all 24 killers in Dead by Daylight. I've always wanted to make a video like this, and I hope I was able to help some of you out. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and make sure the notification bell is turned on so you know when another video goes out. In case you didn't already know, I do stream full-time on Twitch. I'm live every Saturday through Wednesday at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. You can catch me at twitch.tv/spookyloops. Big shout out to that one guy D for spending numerous hours with me in a custom lobby recording all of this. Make sure to check the guy out as well, he's awesome. Well, my friends, it's been a lot of work, but I genuinely hope that you enjoy the video. A lot of cool things are happening within Dead by Daylight as of recently, and I'm very, very glad you're all around for the ride. Thank you all so much for the support, and I'll catch you on the next one.